pretend that airplanes in the night sky like shooting stars. I could really use a wish right now, wish right now, wish right now.
Before 9/11, the airport security was very quick. All you needed to do was go through a metal detector for them to check for weapons, which meant you could get to the airport just minutes before your flight and you would still make it on time. What were the security systems like before 9/11?
They were a lot more lenient. There wasn't any restrictions on the amount of liquids you could bring in. You didn't have to take your shoes off before you went through security. Me, as an employee, I didn't even have to go through security. We used to take buses directly over to the planes and just get on. Now we have to go through security as well.
Then on September 11th, 2001, 2 airplanes hit the Twin Towers in New York, killing nearly 3,000 people, and this ended up changing airport security as we know it.
Want anyone going through the lobby doors. First, it was because debris was falling outside. Then, it was people falling.
You don't see it, but you know where it is. And you know that every time you hear that crashing sound, it's a life which is extinguished. It's not something you could get used to. And the sound was so loud.
I just remember looking up, thinking how bad is it up there that the better option is to jump.
With a story that says there is no report of any casualties, without jumping to too many conclusions, looking at the extent of this damage and knowing how well populated that building is at that. There's.
After 9/11, the security got more strict. Specific ID was required, shoes must be removed at checkpoints, all your baggage was screened, no liquids over 3 ounces were allowed through checkpoints, special items like laptops would be pulled from your luggage, jackets would be removed, there was a body scan machine that would screen you, enhanced pat-downs were put in place, and no more non-ticketed visitors would be allowed at the airline gates.
They've progressively gotten stricter with what they do. Well, they did for a while, but then now I guess they've let up on some things, like you can take scissors, 4-inch scissors on board a plane. Old people don't have to take the shoes off anymore. So I think for a while they got stricter, and then they lessened up that one, and then they have the machine that you step in, and it takes a picture of you, and that's nice for people like me with artificial hips or knees or whatever, because the camera takes a picture of that, and then I don't have to get patted down. I don't fail the test of just walking through, so.
Some airports now use L3 ProVision scanners. They can see through layers of clothing to detect hidden items in just a few millimeters wide. It uses antenna arrays to transmit and receive high-frequency radio waves as they circle the person. Dense materials like metal will reflect more energy. That is turned into a hologram and then a 3D figure, and the process takes about 7 seconds. Do you think that the system invades privacy or it's ineffective, and explain why?
I don't think it invades your privacy. I think when you're in the public, in that situation where it's concerning security, I think that it's important. And if you want to travel that way, you should be willing to do it. Ineffective, I think there's always loopholes in everything. And if somebody, which has been proven, really wants to get through, they can. But you can only do your best.
There are obviously going to be changes in the airport security systems throughout the following years ahead, so I decided to ask people what they'd like to see change in some of the airport security systems. And if you could change one thing, what would you change about the security systems?
I would try to improve the way that you're able to go through security so that the time delay is a little bit less, so it doesn't take you as long to get through security.
What would you change about the security systems?
I really wouldn't change anything as long as we know that they are working to keep us safe. If it gets so that problems occur where terrorists or whatever are getting through the security system, then I think they need to do something, yes, and tighten it up or whatever. But to me, whatever it takes to keep our planes safe in the air, I'm okay with. And I wouldn't change anything. And I'm a person that gets checked every time I fly. So
Some airports today still use wands and metal detectors instead of the Provision scanners. Thank you for watching my project on airport security.
Let's fly away. Come fly with me, let's float down to Peru.